What is going on, everybody? James Hancock here. I'm back for a quick breakdown of the Season 6 premiere of The Expanse. Now, this is for people who've already seen the episode and are looking to discuss some spoilers. So if you're looking for a completely spoiler-free reaction to the whole season, I'll leave a link in the video notes below. But if you're still with me, this episode, Strange Dogs, was written by showrunner Naomi Shankar, and it takes its name from the novella of the same name, which was published the summer of 2017. That story takes place between books 6 and 7, and you'll be seeing a lot more of that Strange Dogs storyline as this season progresses. After all, this episode really only gave us a small taste, but for those of you who are hungry to learn a lot more about Laconia, soak it all in. That big fucking scary ship in the sky, it's not the only strange thing to be encountered on that world, as the little girl Kara soon learns when she encounters an alien life form that vaguely kind of sort of resembles a dog. But more to come on all that in the weeks to come. I suspect there are a lot of people out there like me who find the alien tech in this fictional setting to be absolutely horrifying, but at the same time, endlessly fascinating, and really the feature attraction of this epic saga. But the main story this season comes from book 6 of the series, Babylon's Ashes, and while admittedly it's a tough act to follow, coming after the events of Nemesis games, which, quick side note, is a strong contender for my favorite book of all 9. That said, this season hits the ground running with a really cool newsreel, bringing viewers up to speed with everything going on in this fictional setting. Millions of people are dead, Earth's biosphere is severely damaged, and multiple stations out there have declared loyalty to Marco Inaris. As one belter puts it, Earthers are finally learning what it feels like to grow up in the belt. But what I liked most about this sequence is how it addresses one of the flaws of Season 5, where I felt like the show didn't completely spell out the magnitude of the damage done to Earth with Marco's attacks. But this episode gave us this great scene where Avasarala is describing the condition of Earth like that of a nuclear winter. She visits a high-yield grain farm that is completely in ruins, and even worse is how each time one of Marco's rocks is blasted out of the sky, the debris continues to contaminate Earth's biosphere, killing Earth's ability to sustain life a little bit more. Basically, this is an extinction-level threat, and it's just getting worse. And while the UN and MCRN forces are busy shooting down rocks, Marco and his Free Navy can basically roam wherever they please. That is, of course, unless you're one of the ships that's unfortunate enough to bump into the Rocinante. And speaking of the Rocinante, we get this fucking awesome transition to the crew in the middle of a pitched battle, with Jim Holden cussing in rage. And while actor Stephen Strait has many talents as a performer, I feel like he's always at his best when he's kind of reveling in Jim Holden's violent side. In any event, the Rocinante's in this strange position where they're not really mercenaries nor soldiers, but they're definitely up to their ears in the current conflict. But after the battle, we see how Amos and Peaches have found their groove working as a team. And then in one of my favorite sequences of the episode, we see Amos stepping out into space in order to patch up some holes. And it's just this beautiful quiet moment where we had a chance to appreciate the size and the look of the ship that's been featured front and center in so many adventures across these 6 seasons. And my advice to everyone out there is just to enjoy these quiet, beautiful scenes while they last, because this season's only 6 episodes long and it's all going to be over before you know it. But not everything's roses aboard the ship. Naomi's suffering from residual anxiety from all of her traumatic experiences last season, including the death of Alex, which results in her occasionally lashing out at Peaches, who's just trying to do her best to be useful. But also Naomi's become more than usually protective of Holden when he's investigating this mysterious drive that they find on a giant rock. And on top of all that, she's wrestling with the fact that they're now fighting and killing people that she used to call her own. So everyone's a little tense. Amos just wants to be drinking on Luna, but he doesn't want to abandon Holden. Plus, he really wants to kill Marco Inaris. And meanwhile, Holden's distracted by the vanishing ships in the ring gates and their connection to what might have happened to the ring builders long ago. But the good news is that Naomi manages to triangulate the location of a spotter ship that's running dark called the Azure Dragon. If they can destroy it, Marco will lose most of his ability to hurl rocks at Earth. And when she gets the news, Avasarala tells Bobby that this could be the massive morale boost that they also desperately need, especially when they have journalists like Monica constantly all over her ass asking these really tough questions on behalf of a planet that's wounded and demoralized. Meanwhile, Drummer's on the run from bounty hunters working for Marco Inaris, and she and her crew might be kicking all kinds of ass, but some of the crew members like Michio, they're choking under the strain because Michio's not a born fighter. She might be family, but she's not a warrior. But the bigger concern is, where can Drummer find a safe harbor where she can replenish her stockpile of ammunition? But also, more importantly, she needs to find a temporary home for any crew member who's not cut out for this new warlike lifestyle that she's embraced. But for the time being, things seem to be going relatively well for the Free Navy. Philip is spending all day, every day, just trying to bone anything that moves, while Marco's busy trying to consolidate his control over the belt. And in this very public speech, he declares that Ceres Station is going to be the capital of the new Belter Nation. But we, the audience, we hear these private conversations between Marco and Rosenfeld, where she lays it all out there that it's not their problem if the people on Ceres Station starve, because the Belter Nation has nothing to spare. Even though Ceres is going to run out of food in the very near future, On the other hand, Medina Station, which has more strategic value, that gets anything it needs. But speaking of Rosenfeld, she's played by newcomer Katheryn Robertson, who's an excellent addition to the cast. I first saw her way back in Scary Movie number 2, and a very different kind of story.
Why don't I put some music on?
Yeah, music.
But these recent successes for the Free Navy, they come with a small price tag, because we see how Philip is growing ambivalent about the role he played in the mass murder on Earth, but at the same time he still expects to be treated like a total rock star by anyone who catches his eye. He doesn't take rejection well at all from this bartender on Sirius Station, and when he lashes out at a friend of his, their argument quickly escalates, with Philip eventually gunning him down in cold blood. Marco can basically use all of his time looking after the Belter Nation or trying to keep Philip out of trouble, but clearly there are not enough hours in the day for him to do both. But there you have it. It was just a tight introductory episode to the season. Every major character storyline's now been introduced. Now it's just a matter of all of us sitting back and enjoying the ride. Having seen all 6 episodes ahead of time, I can promise you plenty more time on Laconia with all that delightfully creepy alien tech. But there are also going to be abundant epic space battles, ruthless brutality, hysterical character beats, all the heart-pounding tension and suspense you could ask for. Basically, all the things that fans of the show have come to know, love, and expect from The Expanse. But for now, I'm just going to press pause and save all that for the next few weeks. If you want to hear my general spoiler-free thoughts on the whole season, once again, the link is in the video notes below. But I've been having a blast over the last week reconnecting with all the fans of The Expanse, and I'm eagerly looking forward to more nerdy conversations like this every week between now and January 14th. So much obliged for listening to my little breakdown. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. But more importantly, as always, onwards and upwards.